If you want to go deeper than most people could imagine spiritually, understand your spirit better, and understand spirit in general better, unlock deeper discernment, deeper self love and understanding, have endless awakenings, heart awakenings, consciousness awakenings, and energetic awakenings. You can't find it in a book. You can only find it within, and I can tell you how. It starts by following your discomfort, but don't worry, we're going to talk about why you have to follow your discomfort, how you're going to do it, how you're going to overcome it, and what lies on the other side. I'm going to teach you how to truly open your subconscious mind and deeper explore it. I've been spiritual and a psych nerd for over 10 years. I thought I was very good at subconscious exploration. I thought I was very honest with myself, and I thought that I was pretty spiritual. I didn't know how deep it could get. And it started a few years ago. First, it started with me going to school for hypnotherapy on the West Coast, where at least my teacher was way more focused on subconscious exploration than she was on behavior modification. So I learned a lot about the subconscious mind and how it works. Then I started working with shadow work focused deities, specifically one in particular who is very, very good at what he does and considered to be pretty hardcore. I didn't really know what I was getting into. I thought that I would be pretty good at what I was doing. I thought that it would be pretty easy for me because I was so used to exploring my mind. I didn't know how deep it can go. What happened was, I think the combination of my hypnotherapy training and working with this deity made it so that I started hearing parts of my subconscious that I would typically push down without any thought. I would typically repress without even thinking about it because they were too uncomfortable and too painful. It started to become louder as my subconscious opened and more unconscious thoughts came to the surface. And for a while, I felt like maybe I was being spiritually attacked, which is why I think a lot of people think they're being spiritually attacked when really they're being encouraged to go deeper. After a few months, I started to realize that the things that were coming up that were becoming louder were parts of myself that I was deeply ashamed of and deeply afraid of. And I realized that these parts were being mirrored back to me. It's like the way that I think about it when I tap into it is it's like the subconscious is the part of your mind where your unconscious starts to kind of rise to the surface, right? So your unconscious is the completely unknown. And it's like there's a little doorway or a little well that is your subconscious, and it just starts to poke up to the surface. Whatever parts of your unconscious mind want to be revealed to you will start to poke up to the surface. And we are conditioned, this is what I realized, to push a lot of that back down. The more discomfort and shame and fear we feel, the more we push it back down without even thinking about it. But when you start to allow yourself to sit with it, it's this thing happens where it starts to grow. It's like if you keep a dream journal and you write down your dreams, your mind is retrained to think, oh, dreams are important. It's the same thing with subconscious exploration. You start to catch yourself in moments where you might repress, and it starts to come out more. And your subconscious starts to know, oh, okay, I can start to let these things come out. Now, again, the reason that we repress these things is because we are taught to separate good from bad. We are taught that if certain characteristics, and this is going to vary from person to person based on their culture, their family they were raised in, their experiences, and general societal belief systems, we are taught that rather than dealing with issues, we should repress them because if we admit that we have those issues, we are bad, we are unworthy, we are shameful. So, protectively, we are conditioned to repress. So, when you start to allow yourself to open your subconscious up, it will come with shame and fear. And I want to say, I am not a mental health professional. So, if you do this and you find yourself having a difficult time, please seek a mental health professional. But I do have a lot of techniques that I have used on myself to reprogram this shame and fear. And that is ultimately what you want to do. At the end of the day, you want to remember if you are allowing these things to come up, you are doing so with the sole intent of reprogramming the shame and fear and transmuting it into something that serves you and is in more of alignment with you. Because when we repress, the things don't go away. The issues don't go away. They stay in our subconscious mind. and they unconsciously affect our behavior. They leak out in unconscious ways. They leak out in unconscious, energetic, and spiritual ways as well. That spiritual, energetic, unconscious muck will leak out of us in ways that we don't even realize, affecting our behavior, our energy, our relationships, etc. So this is ultimately to become aware of what we typically repress so that we can deal with it, so that we can transmute it. I've been through this process hundreds of times in the last few years. And at this point, I want to explain it so that nobody else has to go through the messy process. And I also do believe, as somebody who is conditioned to fear spiritual entities, that many people think that they are being spiritually attacked, but it's really just their own unconscious. And so this is liberating in many ways because it not only allows us to release those blockages, but we can also release the fear and shame that holds us back. So it begins with this. The first thing you have to do if you want to start listening to your subconscious mind is you have to allow yourself to be in moments of silence and stillness. You can be walking, but allow yourself to be in moments where there are no distractions, where you're not focused on a specific task, where you're not focused on a specific train of thought. Because when you are not focused on an outside external task, what will end up happening is you will eventually go into a meditative state, whether you realize it or not, just a slightly dreamy state, and your subconscious will begin to poke its little head up. It will begin to start to speak to you. And this is the reason that many people do not want to be in moments of silence, why many people want to be distracted, because they don't want their subconscious to speak to them, because we are conditioned that the things that the subconscious are saying to us make us inherently bad. But the subconscious is only speaking to us because it wants us to work through these issues so that we can have a resolve, some sort of resolve for them, so that we can better understand them and so that we can release some of this heavy toxic energy weighing us down. So in moments of silence, of no distraction, of complete presence, many people will begin to have their subconscious start to speak to them. And when we begin to allow our subconscious to speak to us, it will feel uncomfortable. The goal of this is to completely allow yourself to understand why it's uncomfortable. Allow yourself to be in the presence of that discomfort and allow yourself to understand what your unconscious beliefs are. And it is important to know that your unconscious beliefs are programming. They are not true. And you will begin to understand that there are protective inner parts of yourself that are telling you this behavior or this belief system or these feelings are wrong because of X, Y, and Z. And your conscious adult mind will know why that is illogical. But first, before you can even begin to challenge that part, it's like having a conversation. The subconscious, for example, might say, hey, I'm jealous of my friend. When I see my friend succeeding in ways that I am not succeeding, it makes me feel jealousy. And then you're going to go, okay, tell me more, subconscious. What exactly are you feeling with this issue? And it's going to say, like, yeah, I feel jealous because I feel like I am unworthy. Or it's going to say various things. This is just one example. I feel jealous because I am unworthy. I feel unworthy of success. I feel like there's nothing I can do to succeed. And then you're going to think about that and decide whether it's true or not. You're probably going to come to the conclusion that it's not true, that there are different circumstances between you and your friend, that there is a different reason, maybe some other issue that you have not acquired the same success as your friend. Maybe you realize you don't want to be successful in the things that they're successful in. You want to be successful in something else. And in order to be successful in something else, you have to do something differently, completely, entirely different. And whatever it is, you're just going to go back and forth with your subconscious, understanding why it feels unworthy, why it feels jealous, why it feels insecure. And then your conscious, adult, logical mind is going to go, but this is actually not true. I am not unworthy. I have no reason to be insecure. The reality of the situation is X, Y, and Z. It will help if for each issue you develop an affirmation, or in hypnotherapy speak, a suggestion, and you want that suggestion to be tailored to you uniquely. So you want it to say positives, because if you say, like, I am not jealous, you're emphasizing jealous. So instead, you want it to say, like, I am capable and worthy of doing X, Y, and Z because I am good at X, Y, and Z. I am unique. I have a unique set of abilities that is different from my friends. Therefore, I will excel in different ways if I follow my unique abilities. This type of thing. It's going to be specifically tailored to you. And like I said, once you begin this process, you're going to start noticing your subconscious talking to you more. And in moments where your subconscious is talking to you more, you're going to continue to follow it until you understand the issue. And once you get to the point where you understand the issue and you understand why it's not true, you understand what the truth is in this current state, because also the subconscious has no concept of time. So, protection mechanisms and beliefs that you held as a child, if you don't consciously work it out, your subconscious will still believe it's true. So, once you get to the point where you have understood that subconscious belief enough that you know why it's not true, why it doesn't apply to you, then you're going to form the reprogram, the suggestions, the affirmations. And every time that subconscious belief comes up, you're going to repeat those affirmations, those suggestions. Every time your subconscious starts to go, I'm feeling jealous, you're going to go, there's actually no need to feel jealous because this doesn't apply to me because of X, Y, and Z, essentially. Tailor it to yourself. However you want to say it, you want to use words that make you feel powerful, words that are in alignment with you, and words that you would use that fit to your situation. Another quick example for my people pleasers, my fellow people pleasers, something that I've been through myself is the conditioning that our worth is tied to how we can be used. And this is actually the first way that my subconscious began to speak to me. It began to tell me I wasn't doing enough. I wasn't good enough. I wasn't trying hard enough. And eventually, through working through those issues and allowing myself to experience those subconscious beliefs, what I realized is that I have an internal belief that my worth is tied to what I can offer others. So then I have to unlearn that belief and I have to build these reprogramming affirmations to tell myself every time I think that. Every time somebody asks me to pick up a shift and I don't want to and I don't need to, and my brain goes, but if you say no, they won't find you worthy. I have to reprogram and I have to go, my worth is not tied to what I can offer somebody. If somebody thinks my worth is tied to what I can offer them, they are not for me. And that's my specific affirmation. It can be different for everyone. This process will surely start off uncomfortable until you fully understand why shame is ineffective, why it is conditioned into you, and why it is untrue. It will be uncomfortable only until you can directly target the shame, and each issue will still be uncomfortable, but it will get less uncomfortable as you start to understand that shame is internalized programming. And what lies after that is such a deep understanding of your own spirit, of your own mind, of your own self. And because you understand yourself, because you work through these issues, it helps with discernment and compassion and love for yourself and others. So being able to call yourself on BS and understand why you have those protective mechanisms and understand how to deal with those protective mechanisms, you will begin to have discernment for other people. You will be able to see when people have those same protective mechanisms. And you will meet them with more love and compassion because of that, because you understand why you had that, why that was inside of you, and you understand why it is inside of them as well. You will end up having more self love and compassion for yourself and others and be able to discern when somebody's speaking based off of protection mechanisms versus when they're speaking based off of their authentic, aligned belief systems and feelings. Emotional release will begin to feel cathartic rather than something that's holding you down, negative emotions weighing you down. It'll start to feel like, oh, I'm releasing this. I'm getting this out of my spirit, out of my energy, out of my system. And because of this, there will be endless layers of heart awakenings, awakenings that center around developing more love and compassion for yourself and for others. There will be endless consciousness awakenings, awakenings that center around deconstructing the conditioning that binds us and understanding more vast and expansive perspectives of reality and of situations. And energetic awakenings, where the energetic awakenings come because when we are constantly repressing things, there is a level of disassociation. There will be disassociation from our body, our energy, our spirit will be disassociated from our body to some degree or another. So when we get to the point where we are facing that disassociation, we become to be more present with our own energy. And as a result, you will have energetic awakenings to realizing the energy around you that will happen in layers and will probably be different for everybody. Maybe you first awaken to the fact that I'll give you some examples for my own. I have awoken to the fact that my energy is sometimes tied to other people. I don't even realize it. So I think that I'm feeling a certain way, but I'm actually taking on somebody else's energy. And I think this is something that happens very often, and many people probably don't realize it. So I've had energetic awakenings that help me separate my energy from somebody else. I have had energetic awakenings that because I can feel and recognize my own energy, I can connect better with animals, with plants, with trees, and so on and so forth. You start to have energetic awakenings about the energy all around you and how it exists in various forms, which is infinite. So the potential is endless. So while this process is uncomfortable, and it is specifically to follow discomfort, because you are learning to work with discomfort and to transform and to transmute and to integrate your shadow, it ends up releasing all of this stagnant energy and creating space for new, for a more expansive understanding of yourself and the world around you. It ends up being really fulfilling, even though it comes with pain and confusion. It's fulfilling knowing that with each issue you overcome, you become more in alignment and more understanding.